everybody to our Ayurveda 101 class. This is a little twisted. Let me see if I can make it perfect. Yeah, looks good. You all can all see it? All right, wonderful. You will have this presentation in your Dropbox as well if you want to go and revise it later. So now you can definitely read from your manual, but now just take notes and we'll go through all that. Okay, so Ayurveda. So what are we going to be learning today? What is Ayurveda? The sheets, which we already have seen that before. All the senses as we perceive the world. Shreya Priya, Yoga and Ayurveda is some dietary tips. So what is Ayurveda? Oops, I'm sorry. Ayurveda means the science of life. That is the translation and is the oldest preventive health care of the world. The difference of Ayurveda with the Western medicine is that it's going to treat the root cause of the illness. So when we have, regular doctors, sometimes you have a migraine or you have constipation, and what do? They give you a pill for that. They give you a pill for migraine. They give you a pill for bloating, for constipation, but they are not analyzing or understanding what is the cause of that. Why do you have a migraine? So in Ayurveda, we're going to be treating the root cause, which is very much a crucial difference between Western medicine. Okay? And now it's practiced all over the world and is recognized by the World Health Organization or WHO. And we do have some doctors that do blend their Western practices with Ayurveda, so that is great. And then moving forward, first we are going to revise the five koshas. I'm sorry, it's not very, I don't know if it's very clear. Come behind, come behind. Ah, that's better. Yeah, that's better. Thank you. So we already have seen this. This goes on your test. So let's take a look again. Because in Ayurveda, we're going to be treating the five koshas. Not like just like Western medicine, again, that they are treating the superficial layers, right? So let's repeat. Annamaya kosha, physical layer. Then Pranamaya kosha, that's the vital breath or energy. Manomaya kosha, thoughts, feelings is the manager, is the mind. Then Vijnanamaya kosha is the good to know, and here is discernment and intuition, like your wisdom. Now, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, and Vijnanamaya kosha creates the subtle body. We have 5 layers and 3 bodies. Now, the purple there is the Anandamaya kosha. Repeat. Anandamaya kosha. That is pure love, joy, and peace. And the star, the blue star in the middle, is the soul, which we call Atman. So when you are full of joy, happiness, and peace, you are going to be closer to that soul of God within you. And so we have the physical layer, which is basically the body. Now we have the subtle body, everything that we cannot touch. Pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha. And then the purple is the casual body, which is basically the soul body. In other words, physical, energy, mental, wisdom, and bliss. Again, you're more than welcome to access this presentation on your Dropbox and print it and download it. So in Ayurveda, we treat the five portions. Okay, so let's say, for example, that someone has asthma and they cannot breathe, okay, but they are also smoking. That is, a lot of people does that. So yeah, we can address the physical, maybe like the lungs with some, opening of the alveoli and sauna and even eucalyptus and things like that. But that's not going to be enough because they're going to continue smoking. So what do we need to address? We need to address manomaya kosha in order to heal the physical body, right? Um, or in other words, let's say again someone is having a destructive behavior with alcohol or maybe drugs. Maybe they lost their family in a car crash and now they're grieving. So then we'll address again the energy layer, we'll address the soul body. So sometimes the disease is not just formed on the physical layer. The disease is forming from the mind, from the soul. Yeah? Now doesn't exist in Western medicine. They only give you pills for the symptoms, which is not effective, as you know. Then we have the senses. So how do we perceive the world? We said that in Samkhya philosophy, we have Purusha, that is the supreme personality of God, that is omnipresent and has no form. And then through the union with the unmanifest matter or the female aspect of God, Prakriti, then the world is formed with all these different colors and shapes and right. And how do we perceive the world? Through the five senses. So everything that we know about the world is going to be absorbed by our five senses: the sight, the hear, and the taste, the touch, and the smell. So in Ayurveda, we're going to be working with those five senses. And here it has a word over there. You see ahara. So ahara is everything that you're going to absorb through your senses. So of course it's food. Ahara can be food, like I eat food and becomes part of my body. But also whatever I absorb, right? So that's what we mentioned, right? We don't wanna smell cigarettes. We don't wanna, you know, go in a place and all we see is promiscuous or, you know, violence. We don't wanna hear lyrics that are charged again with violence and sex, and we don't wanna be touched if it's not with love and respect. So the so we um, eat what we perceive. That's a good one.
We eat what we perceive.
Right. We eat what we perceive. And how do we perceive? How do we eat the ahara? Through the five senses. So if I smell cigarettes all the time, eventually that, becomes part of you that you don't care anymore, or you start having a real aversion. Like, no, I don't want this
That's what happened to me. I used to really hate cigarette smell, and then the smell of it, like walking by, I would like be all obnoxious, and I would like cough just to like show them that like whatever. And then I lived in Israel for a year, and then I was around it so much that I started doing it.
anymore. Oh, yeah. Yes. So you have two options. Either you adapt or you remove yourself from
Yeah,
that situation.
I had to remove
Yeah,
myself.
you gotta walk away. But yeah, so basically, we're not going to just eat the food. What are we going to eat? The news, the TV, the radio, all of everything that comes through the senses, we are kind of eating it.
Yeah.
You see, it's absorbed by the brain, it's absorbed by the senses, and then eventually be part of us. Right? If I hear the same thing on the TV so many times, it's going to brainwash you. And that's basically how it works. Right, moving forward. Then we have the concept of Shriya, which is the principle of goodness. So in Ayurveda, we stand for this. So what is this? Number one, peaceful mind, meditation, wake up with the sun, go to sleep with with the night, um, stay calm, stay focused, stay peaceful, find your times of solitude, find your times of introspection. And then the second, we talked about that yesterday, impeccable diet, right? We want to have as many alive food, organic food, lots of veggies and fruits, lots of good grains. Today we had an amazing lunch and there was no animals crucified for that, and we all feel amazing. So it's possible. If you want, it's possible. If you don't want, then no, it's not possible. So it requires your tacos. Requires a little bit more sacrifice, a little bit more creativity, and definitely some cooking skills. you know. And then the other one we also talked about that yesterday is that daily exercise, right? We want to be healthy from the inside out. So the mind is important, but also the body is important because if you are overweight, if you have pain on your knee, pain on your back, pain everywhere, then you're not going to be so available to be taking care of anything else. All right. Then we have prayer, the pleasure principle. Now I look at this and I know so many people like this guy right here, right? Even our own family, sometimes we have one of those. They are going to eat fast food, and again, here in America, I don't understand. You order a soda and they give you like 2 liters, and then you have all these kids. They are 10, 12 years old, and they have chest. They're overweight at 10 years old. How is that possible? Because of the market, right? And again,
We are sorry.
no,
The
I'm not.
market is
No.
we can choose.
Who is responsible is the parents.
The parents, of course.
And the parents of the parents.
Yeah.
And the parents of the
Yeah.
parents. Because we didn't got the correct education. That's why again we always celebrate when people want to understand who am I and what I'm doing here and how can I be better. Well, let's start not having fast food and processed food because that's garbage. That is poison. That is garbage. You know that they did a test with the McDonald's French fries. After 10 years, they look the same.
Yeah, no. I've seen that. It's like the video and it's the
Oh
time
my
lapse.
God!
It's
And
unbelievable.
that, and let me tell you another thing that you might not know. Half of the burger is meat, of the dead old cows full of cancer. The other half is worms that they
Yeah.
make yeah, they crunch all together, and you don't even know, but it's it's approved by FDA. It's half cancer meat and half worms, and that becomes a juicy hamburger. Then we have hard liquor. And again, you know that I'm super open minded, more open minded than my teachers would like me to be. Don't tell them. And I'm not going to, again, here comes Christmas or New Year's, you want to dose with your champagne, no problem. But having the habit of going, and drinking is just not what smart people do. And hard liquor, especially hard liquor, it's going to just kill you from the inside. And also, we gotta see from the sodas. They use Coca-Cola to clean
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the rusty thing from the toy, and then people drink that. That you can put like the the screws full of oxide in Coca-Cola and removes all the.
You know when you put a sticker on your car, like when they sticker your car, like for a warning and stuff,
Uh,
you put Coke on a paper towel and you like rub it on it and it gets it off completely.
Imagine putting this in our intestines and liver. One glass of Coca-Cola must have like 5 spoons of sugar. Can you imagine what that does to a child, right? So we don't want to have that. And then guy here, sedentary lifestyle. He has his pizza, his nachos on top of him, and the TV control. And again, I know some of my family, again, they spend 4 hours watching soccer after soccer and eating, you know, they eat in Argentina, man, they eat the intestines of the cows, they eat the tongue of the cow. In Brazil, they eat the ears of the pig. I'm like, that's disgusting, man. Why are we eating that? No, we shouldn't. I'm not eating that, but we shouldn't be eating that. Have an apple, man. So good.
Yeah, get your book.
But this is related. So this is, I'm just going to, um, give to my senses whatever I feel that will give me some momentary pleasure, right? And then on the long term, that pleasure becomes suffering, right? Because if you, the sugar, I mean, what does not actually, sweet is nice. Refined sugar is a problem, right? The sugar that we had today, that was okay, right? I put agave, I put a little bit of brown sugar, coconut sugar. So no, we want to be away from the process, but the problem is here is the abuse of it, right? And we know a lot of people, they eat canned food, hours on the TV, definitely a waste of their human form. They are living an animal lifestyle in a human body. They're only operating from the three bottom chakras. And like my teacher said, there is a quote of my teacher: be a yogi, don't be a doggy. Be a yogi, don't be a doggy. So yoga and Ayurveda, they go hand to hand. Ayurveda comes from the Vedas. We studied that 2,500 years before Christ. And they work together to keep your body, spirit healthy. They also observe the Ashtanga Yoga, Yama Niyama Asana Pranayama Pratyahara Dharana Dhyana Samadhi. And yamas, we have five. Can someone give me one?
Kaisa.
Next. Okay. Uh-huh. No mentir,
Um, no lie.
no matar, no robar. I just remember this universal. And then niyama is what you're going to do. So what are you going to do? Purity,
Uh, cha,
santosha,
santosha.
contentment or gratitude. Svadhyaya. This is what we're doing right now. Is studying out the scriptures. Ayurveda is coming 2,000 years before Christ. Look how old, how back on we're going. So, yeah, this you need to know. You see, it appears everywhere. Repeat it every day. Write it on your journal, and you will get it better. Now we're going more into this subject with Ayurveda. We have in Ayurveda we work with the five elements because when Purusha fertilized Prakriti, like the dot and the line of the Om, Prakriti, now God that has no form, now Prakriti starts giving all forms for everything. And the first thing that comes are the elements. Pancha Maha Bhutas. Pancha means five, Maha is great, and Bhuta is like earth, so it's like the elements of the earth. And they're building the blocks of the universe. So we have Jai or water, there are five elements, or water, Agni or fire, Prithvi or earth, Vayu is wind, and Akash is ether. So we, Akash, ether. So we are made of the five elements, and everything in this world is made of the five elements. Everything has these elements. Makes sense. So true, right? We already said that we are 70% water. What is the water in our body? The blood. Exactly. What is the earth in our body? The bones. The bones. The trunks, right? So we'll see more of that. Okay, let's move forward. Let's see what it means. So the earth, anything that is solid and is stable. So the earth will represent the muscles, the bones, the tissues, the organs. Again, you're welcome to write everything down, but remember you have this. Okay, so don't be so obsessed to write each word. Just a little common sense, right? Then what is the water in our body? The blood. Everything that is liquid, everything that is flowing. So what else? The urine. What else? The lymph, plasma, right? And then the fire is all the exchange between the cells. It's almost like a combustion, division, enzymes. So anything that transform would be the fire. Then okay, uh-huh. The air is ether in movement, kind of thing. We can also say that it's like wind, and it's all the subtle movements. Definitely respiration, and this is very much. These two are very much related with vata. Now we're going to see that better. So anything with the nervous system, so anything that comes from the like mind related is going to be related with this wind. That's what I also was saying. Be careful having a lot of raw because then you will get too space, too much air. Yeah. And then the ether is just like the spacing between the cells. You know, the cells have different walls, and any space in the galaxy is like that black hole. Any space is the ether, and here is represented by the space between the cells. And then those elements, they have the sub elements. Again, it's the same Panchamahabhutas, but they have like the products. For example, The fire, the subproduct of fire is tejas. So if someone is depressed, they are lacking of the tejas, the fire, the combustion. They're like, okay, let's go. They cannot go to the gym. They cannot study. They're depressed. They just want to be in the house. They need a little bit of that. The water is hala. The earth is the same. Prithvi, Akash is the space, and air is Vayu. Kind of the same thing. Yeah? So they have their subplots. Now, again, the three gunas. Remember we mentioned that? Yeah. So everything has the elements, and everything has the three gunas. So when Prakriti, the female aspect of God, is impregnated by God as a supreme being, she gives birth to everything that we see, with all the elements and all the gunas, the three gunas. So let's take a look. This is Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva. And let's take a look here because we want to promote, you know, sattva, which is the mood of truth, light, illumination, essence, intelligence, and is attached to knowledge and joy, and is ruled by the light of knowledge. That's what it comes forth. So we always want to promote sattva guna. So this is what we want to gravitate towards. The middle one is Raja. Raja is like a pendle. Look at me, like this. You can go, let's say you have a breakup, you go to Tamas, and then Rajas is the one in between that is the movement, and then you swing it back to Sattva. Right? You don't need to, you know, you don't need to stay forever in one. You, according to your karma, according to how you were born, according to the gunas of your parents, you will have certain constitution. But throughout your life, you can also hopefully swing towards sattva. So what is Raja? The Raja is what we are right now. Raja is activity. You need to have passion. You need to have desire to study. You need to have desire to know, right? And what? Fire, energy, movement. But be careful because it's blind by passion and is attached to crave and attachment. So, if you have a lot of rajas, you will have, you might be jealous. You're too, remember, ups and downs, too happy, too down. You're yeah, and that can be not good. And then, because you're so passionate, you might become greed. Look at me right there, excessive projects. Yay! That's, yeah, abajo de todo, excessive projects. And cravings and restless arise. So you have so much fire, so much energy that you ended up disbalanced because you just keep, you know, and I gotta watch that because I'm like, okay, I'm finishing Ayurveda college. What else? Maybe I do Chinese medicine. Maybe not. Just not. Maybe yes. So you are always on the run, and too much emotions definitely can throw out your peace and not be neutral, not be stable. And then the tamas is like that guy on the picture. Tamas is the most heavy, so it's inertia. darkness.
What is the meaning of
Inercia.
inertia?
Going backward. Para atrás. Inercia. Instead of going forward, you go backward. Mass matter, like is dense. Is dense. It's no light like sattva. And here is dullness, lethargy. It is like a sloth. Talking about this sloth. I saw one in Costa Rica. He was smiling in slow motion. I just send you the video. But there, who is tamasic is going to take forever to do anything because it's their nature. It's in their nature.
Yeah.
And if you get mad or upset, that's not going to help at all because. So they are bound by ignorance. They are bound by obstruction. Like this is the type of people they eat the ravioli from a can, watching the news for hours, and they never ask themselves, "Is this good for me?" It's not in their software. It's not in their wire. In this lifetime, no. Maybe next life. And that's another reason that we do not judge. Because if I am in Rajas, working my way to Sattva, working my way to be more peaceful, less movement, more stability, less passion, more peace. Right? If I'm doing this effort to more meditation, right? It's because in maybe 2 lives ago, I was the guy on the couch eating raviolis in the cat. Good. Then, life after life, who knows how many lives? Only God knows. We can have hundreds, thousands of lives. You probably were a man before, and in another country, who knows? But okay, so then in that life, you're tamasic and you're going to buy, you know, rule by darkness, by stagnation, by confusion, you know, you're just static. So again, you know, um, don't be upset if you cannot help someone. You can only help someone if they want to get help. So if someone is asking for help, most likely they are moving towards Rajas that has a movement, has an inquire about, is this good for me or not? Is this food bringing me nourishment or not? People in Tamils, man, they do not care. Okay, they were going to eat the worst hot dog in the stadium with bacon and ketchup and drink the Coca-Cola and never exercise and never question if those actions actually are bringing their happiness or not. They just, that's it. That's where they are in this life. All my family is like this, by the way. I love them still, but we know. So sattvic diet, we want to promote that. So a sattvic diet, like we talked, we're going to have a lot of fresh organic fruits, veggies, whole grains, nuts. In Ayurveda, we use dairy product has ghee and milk because they promote peace. You know, when your baby, your mom gives milk because make the baby more calm and nourished. We don't supposed to drink the milk of another mother that is not your mother. You don't supposed to suck the teeth of another animal because you are human, you are not animal. And if you're going to suck any teeth on any other animal, might as well be a chimpanzee. Might as well be a monkey that is the closer animal to your species according to DNA science. That's why if you were going to use dairy, let's use it in a medicinal way, right? For example, we use dairy to do the golden milk that is very common, very good for insomnia. We have it with some of the Ayurveda herbs that I'm about to tell you, as ashwagandha, let's say, cinnamon, right? All the good stuff. But we use it like with moderation, right? We're not abusing. We're not having four coffees a day with milk and then pizza at night and having all, and remember all the dairy and the meat industry is one industry. The dairy is the locked up sacred moms, cows, having the machines work on their teeth. Now you are a female. Now you put yourself in their place. You put machines on your nipples and see how that feels. And then, you know, having the dog sucking your milk, say, reverse the game. So, you know, it's a different way to see it, right? So that's why I put the word haimsa. So let's try, if you were going to use ghee, let's try to have a ghee that is free of cruelty, you know, again, from a farmer's market, from the Hare Krishna community, from the Amish. Beans and lentils, those are a good source of protein. Remember the reason to be so. But definitely, you can have, you know, like 5 spoons of lentils, 5 spoons of black beans, 5 spoons of chickpeas, and that's right there like 40 grams of protein. You don't need 1,000 grams of protein a day. You need like what, 150? A little bit, then you know, like plant-based oils. We'll talk about that. Don't use vegetable oil. That is not good. Use coconut oil. Use olive oil. Natural unrefined sugars. Now, has a way to extract honey without hurting the bees. Again, you need to do a little more searching. It has some places that the bees are, you know, protected. So we want to look for that. Or the agave comes from a plant, but it's also a high process. So that's another thing.
Oh, honey?
Raw honey is good, and then coconut sugar is really good. And then they have these bars of sugar cane that is like a piece of sugar cane, which is also very sweet. And you know what? It's brown. Why sugar has definitely Clorox. The one, yeah, the sugar is not white. We just make it white to look more appealing. So more processing. So, you know, just be aware of that. And then a lot of, you know, spices, cinnamon, coriander, turmeric, ginger. We have all of those today
I heard,
in our line. So good job.
I don't know if it's true, but I heard we can mix it kefir with turmeric. Turmeric.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, because they use like
No,
the pastor like the benefits.
you can have it.
Yeah, there, no?
No problem. Let's continue. How to promote a static mind? Well, we talk about that. Right lifestyle, right diet. In the Hare Krishna community, we mentioned something about good association. What is good association? Tell me with who you hang out, and I tell you who you are. If all your friends drink and smoke, somehow you are going to end up doing that too, you know. And I told you, I'm from Argentina. All my friends drink and eat meat. Not anymore because I switched friends. You know, it's not because I don't love them. It's because I don't want to do that. I choose differently. So I choose to associate myself with people that know more than me, so I can learn from them. People that do more yoga than me, more meditation than me, more mantras than me, so I can get enthusiastic about my practice and yeah, kind of like keep growing in my practice. So as you choose your new life slowly, you can, you know, start also being the architect of new connections and new places that you go. Remember, you don't need to be stuck with anything. That's, you know, that's the beauty of yoga. Yoga give us wisdom and give us power to learn to say no. No, this is okay for me. No, I don't. Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
But stay here.
I'm not going to say Shiva. Thank you, Namah Shivaya. Okay, here is the three doshas. So in Ayurveda, we work with the three doshas. Each dosha is made of two elements. Vata is the most space one, is air and ether. And one of the characteristics is that it's dry because the air is dry. Dry and cold. You see myself, I always need to have socks. I always need to, I cannot sleep without socks. No matter it's 100 degrees because I am Vata. I am Vata Pitta. I have a Vata body and a Pitta mind. So I get, you know, dry and cold. Then Pitta is fire and water. You can picture like boiling water. And if I'm disbalanced, which happens, you will feel that I will be like a dragon. Now I'm much better, but I did have burned some people before, you know, like I will talk and I will, like a dragon, burn them completely. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to hurt anybody, and that eventually hurt us. But basically, it's an axis of fire, no? If you're disbalanced, but if you're balanced, right? It's a beautiful thing. Like it gives me energy. I can come here, make lunch, do presentation, go back, boom, 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 no problem, right? Fire is feeding me. I'm like a Porsche. Let's go, right? Now, kapha is earth and water. You can imagine like mud. And I always remember the movie, the Historia Sin Fin. What is the never ending story that has the boy with the horse and he's stuck in the mud?
The big love?
Yeah.
That one?
Uh-huh. You guys are too young for
Oh
it.
yeah, I think.
You're
No,
too
no,
young.
maybe.
The never ending story. Well, has a episode that the prince has his horse stuck in the mud and he's trying to take the horse out. But it's like, you know, it's like a fantasy movie. Oh, oh, super old. But anyhow, that is the mud. So what happens? The Kapha people, they will have a very good grounding energy, very solid, right? But also they might move a little slower. They might take their time to think about things. And here is the pita. Right? And so these three doshas we all have. So the beautiful thing about Ayurveda is not that everybody deserves the same medication. Because I might have, let's say, you know, 50% um, vata, and then I might have, you know, 30% pitta, and then I will have 20% vata. So we all have the three doshas at different measurements in a unique way, right? So you can be vata pitta, you can be pitta vata, you can be kapha pitta, you can be pitta kapha, right? You can be like that.
But we can compense like each.
Yeah, yeah, we will talk more about that. And now, so it's also saying a little bit of the attributes. So Vata is dry and cold, and then Kapha is heavy and oily, and then definitely Pitta. Remember, boiling water is hot and light. Right.
Okay, that,
We're going to talk more about that. Let's keep moving. Let's talk about Vata. We all have a little bit. So Vata is the ether and earth. You can say that it is like wind, and in the body is going to be all the nerve impulses. Like if you have like a tick, now the eyes start blinking, that's a disbalance in Vata. You know, you're having a lot of air in your optical nerve. So anything that has air, blood, food, waste, thoughts, anything that is moving, anything that has movement, it will be governed by Vata, right? So you need, in order for you to go to the bathroom, you should push it down. Your thoughts are definitely Vata. You have how many thoughts per minute? One, two, three, four. So many. Then the Vata has seven attributes. Let's take a look on them. Someone wants to read it?
Cold, light, irregular, mobile, rare, dry, and dry.
Okay. So this is a little bit how we're going to notice Vata in our body, like we always mentioned, cold. So Vatas have a smaller body, so you know, light body. You also have irregularities, like you can have one leg bigger than the other, one arm longer than the other. Anything that is movement, we mentioned. So if you sometimes see me, I don't do like this, so I'm talking to my hands. Dry, rough. So now let's see the disbalances. What happens when you have too much of ether and air? Too much wind.
nervous direction, high blood pressure, gas, constipation, and
So if you have any of those, you'll have a vata disbalance.
okay.
Okay? So for example, sometimes yeah, this can happen. Like, look, if I travel a lot, right? And I that's what happened before the teacher train. So I was like, I just need to be grounded in Miami. Let me just go train and just stay still. Right? Did like 4 countries in 2 months. I was definitely confused. I didn't know what was, 3 a.m. It sounded like 8 a.m. Definitely was a little constipated because your intestine, doesn't know what time it is. It's time to cook, it's time to eat. So all this confusion, right? Now let's say I don't have a lot of air or ether, then you will have nerve loss, congestion, and thoughtfulness. Basically, you space out. That's good enough. Like you're there, but you're not there.
Not focused at all.
Yeah, you can concentrate. And I understand everything very well because I am also like it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like you are in the class, but your mind is in the butterfly on top of the tree. You know. Um, Moving forward. Physiological imbalances. Emphysema when you got swallowed. Yeah. Any pain is vata. Any pains and aches in your body is vata. Lower back pain, vata.
Okay. All the time.
Joint pain, vata. What happens? What happens is the vata is dry, and you're supposed to have fluid on your joints so they don't hurt. Because if you have bone on the bone, then you have friction and you have pain. Spasms, vata, rigidity. You're so dried out that you get rigid, right? Goosebumps, muscle twitching, osteoporosis, a lot. Osteoporosis is the bone with too much air, and they get like a vacuum inside. Insomnia is a big one. There's a lot of people with insomnia, and it's a problem because it really hurts their mind. Imagine you don't sleep, you don't sleep, you don't sleep, you start getting sleep deprivation, and you can even have, all kinds of other things happening after that. Do you think bloating, dry skin, constipation, guys, you need to wake up and go to the bathroom? Sometimes I wake up like, oops, wake me up. Like, oh, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And it can be 7 a.m. If you don't poop when you wake up in the first, like, let's say 10, 15 minutes, then you are constipated. If you wake up, let's say at 7, 8, and you go to poop at 10, you are constipated. You need to wake up and go to the bathroom. Now we have some people with vata disbalances. They don't poop for 2, 3 days. One of my students that I just saw as well from the other training, she has an immune disorder, disease, and she is vata disbalance. She will not poop for a whole week. When she told us that, we were like, oh man, this is super bad for you. Imagine all your poop inside you
For a week,
for a week.
like how many
So why are we not pooping? Why are we not going? Because we are doing incorrect actions, and we can correct that once we have the knowledge. Okay, now bloating is a big one, for vatas, dizziness, stuttering, and then emotional disbalance. Here we go: fear, anxiety, restlessness, confusion, selectiveness, like you just you want to tell anything have you done? It's nakedness. Let me just jump without even seeing. No one can see me. Unstable.
when, when I have a,
Left and right over
Check,
here.
check, 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 check. Oh my god.
when I am close to my period, I feel like a little constipation. I always I think it's about my
Your
period
period. Yeah.
because it's not happen every day. It's like one day when my period is coming.
That's part of it.
I think
So if you have any of this, you have a vata disbalance, and guess what? Because you know what you have now, you can reverse.
yeah,
How are we going to treat these disbalances? With the opposite. If I have too much air, what are we going to do? Put more earth. So vatas, they should have like anything closer to the earth. Sweet potatoes, carrots, stews, any root vegetables, right? Let's start with the diet. It's always we start with the diet. You know, don't move, don't travel so much, stay still, right? Things like that. Let's keep going. Here we have some Vata, the dominant type. We have Woody Allen and Uma Thurman. And so how can I see someone is Vata? Thin frame body. There are things that is small, tall or short. The joints crack easily. I'm all the time cracking my joints. Yeah, crack, crack, crack. It's because the air there is dry. Irregularity, protruding joints. You can see their joints easily, like big joints. Bow legs. You know what bow legs is? They're like this. Es como sí, como redonda las piernas. Possible scoliosis and uneven facial structure. So, has a tendency for this. And this is me. I wish I could gain weight in my butt. By now, I always gain weight in my belly. So I might be super skinny and then have a belly. Come on. Skin is dry, rough, and cool to the touch. That's why we gotta oil. In Ayurveda, one of the has a few concepts, but one of them is that you need to have a good agni, good fire to digest your food, because if you don't digest your food, it becomes toxic or amma, that's how we call it. And then the other concept is oiling everything. And we're going to do some oil in a moment, but sometimes just like you don't have the oils that you need to have, you can put a little bit of ghee on your nose, a little bit of ghee on your ears, and we put oils everywhere in the rectum as well. Yes, we oil everything. Skin coloration is a little darker, maybe the rest of the family.
You just wrote it on me.
Hair is usually dry, dark, curly. The teeth is often cryptic. They have tendency to bleeding gums. Eyes can be small but active, black, brown. So appetite is variable. What happens with vata? They're so spacey they might forget. Did you eat? I don't know. Did I? You forget. That's not what you happen with pizza. You're like, man, I didn't get any food. And the fire is like eating your stomach, and you must eat. And the vata is like, sure, yeah. And they are irregular. Sometimes they eat at 1 p.m., sometimes they eat at 3 p.m. That's also no good. Fingers and toes are long and thin, and the nails, look, they crack easily. Easily nails to crack. Variable thirst. So the bowel movements, you need to watch your poop, okay? Because that's going to tell you how is the health of your intestines. So usually for vatas, they are gassy, lots of air coming out, dry because the air is dry, hard, maybe little people, little rocks, and constipation. So if that's happening, you are a little constipated, just don't worry, you can address it. Or how are you going to address? Just put more oils in your body. Put oil in your rectum. I tell you how.
I teach you.
It's a medicine. It's just for you to have a healthy um, bowel movements. They're always active, but they spend their energy easily. So, in the afternoon, they need some caffeine, otherwise they crash. And here I'm having green tea as we speak. And mind can be too active because it's too much wind. So restless, curious, creative. And under stress, they become a little fearful, insecure, anxious. So what Vata needs to do, avoid getting stressed. So for example, as I, go in my journey, and I also have Pitta, I love to do things. I love to be productive. It's the fire of me. But my Vata, if I have 4 meetings in one day, that's going to disbalance me because it's so much to deal with. Then I get stressed out. So I need to have one compromise a day. I can handle that, right? But if I need to rush from Hallandale to Doral to Miami to this client, then I will get anxious. I will get it's too much movement, too much weight. So in order for me not to emotionally get this balance, I know that I cannot click so much, even though my Pitta wants. All right, so I need to just be mindful. Her speech is fast, chaotic, often talking with their hands. Be careful here. Money goes through their hands quickly because they are impulsive. So if you have Vata on you, think twice before you spend your money. You don't need no shoes. You don't need anything. You only need to money to study, to travel to learn about other cultures, and to buy a piece of land in nature so you can secure a beautiful future for you. Don't buy purses. Don't buy expensive clothes. You don't need 10 tops of the same kind. No. Because in the long term, use your money for things that will, last you. Alright, pita. Yay! Okay. Pita is fire and water, as we already learned. It represents the enzymes, controls the temperature, right? Sometimes you feel hot, sometimes you don't feel hot. Hormones is related with pitta, and clearly it would be hot, it would be light, fluid, subtle, sharp. Be careful with the pitta, they can cut you. Mal- Malodorous, when if I'm stressed and I didn't use deodorant, you will know because my stress will smell. And that will smell like, oh my God, has some smell to it. Soft and clear. Too much fire, fire burns. So what's going to create ulcers? Hormonal imbalance, irritated skin, anger, right? Some people that have eczema, they itch urticaria, anything. Yeah, there you go. Is an excess of fire in your body, and then too little pita, you lack of fire. Then you will have indigestion because we said that the fire is the one that keeps the digestion healthy, and then because you don't have fire, you get sluggish in your mind, slow thinking. I say right, 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 you do left, left, left. Oh man. Some imbalances, like you said, skin rashes, fever. Definitely, that is a fire thing, right? If you have fever, you might have an excess of fire. Acid indigestion, heartburn. Heartburn. A lot of people come to heartburn, and a lot of doctors give medicine for heartburn, which is really bad because you know what that medicine does? It kills your intestinal flora, right? So if you are having acid indigestion, you probably have an excess of meat, an excess of coffee, an excess of alcohol, and all together. You have your wine with your piece of steak, and after you have coffee, and then you have acid reflux, and then you don't know why. Why? We know why. Gastritis, ulcers, diarrhea. That's definitely fire coming off to the back. Thirst. If you're thirsty all the time, if you're thirsty all the time and you're hungry all the time, it's because you have such a big fire that is eating everything inside. It's eating your food, it's burning your water. That's why you need more and more and more. So you have too much fire. Like excessive urination, again, you have so much fire that it boils your water so fast you gotta go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. Burning of the eyes, and any inflammation is a fire pitta condition. So someone says, I have, so you can have arthritis that is a vata arthritis, or you can have an arthritis that is a pitta arthritis. And now we're going to give different kinds of herbs and different kinds of treatments. Emotional imbalances, excessive bravery. And I gotta tell you this story. Now I'm full of stories. You know, um, one time I was doing this yoga TV show that I have. It's called, it's in Spanish. It's called Destinos Yoga. So it was like an Anthony Bourdain show, but for yoga. So I was traveling in many countries, showing all the yoga places and all the vegan places to eat. We ended up in Ecuador and we ended up in Galapagos to film. So we went to a canyon, like the Grand Canyon, and all these kids, todos los niños, they were jumping in the canyon. And Turkish water, beautiful, unique birds from Galapagos, unique species. So I told the camera guy, hey, everybody's jumping. I'm jumping too. If everybody's doing it, I can do it too. It's that sort of bravery. So here I go to jump in this canyon into the water. And I just, instead jump, I took a step into the nothingness, and then my body flipped. So I ended up.
Oh
Oh
no!
my god. You
Yeah.
ended that way?
Oh.
Oh.
I was like, it was like
Oh,
so.
Ouch.
I got red and
You
almost
be
purple.
brave? Toma.
Excessive bravery. So be careful. Don't
Too
in
much fire, you just
too much fire. And even the cameraman, are you sure you want to jump in the cave? No, the kids are doing it. If the kids are doing it, why can I not do it? Yeah, I needed to have an extra push there. Okay, that's another thing that I had, and I'm so grateful for yoga and Vedanta philosophy, Ayurveda, everything, but because I had a big disbalance with it. So, I will have a short temper, like short fuse. So basically it's intolerance. So you can understand me,
It's like my sister.
no patience. So rage, anger, jealousy, all this is fire coming out of your pores. But in psychology also we said, anger is the subproduct of sadness and loneliness.
You feel like a face.
The other phase, like if you are angry, maybe you were sad as a child.
You need love.
You need that, exactly. Separation, recklessness, manipulation, excess. Yeah, so be careful with the fire because fire is an amazing element to transform, but it can also burn you to death. Here we have 10 examples. The pedophile of Clinton, and this is Nicole Kidman. She used to be a red before, red hair. So
You
if
don't think Nicole Kidman would be
Vata,
Vata?
well, that I think back on the days. Now she's old. Now you also have ages.
Oh.
So when you're a baby, you're Thomas because you depend on your mom and dad to feed you, change their diapers. You're like completely sedentary. Then when you become young, you go to school, you go to college. Then you're Rajas because you're like, hey, going to college, going to study, building your life, movement, blah blah blah. Then when you go towards your, more maturity, you go towards sattva, hopefully with more wisdom, and also vata in a way, more towards um, meditation and connection with that, etheric space. But yeah, before Nicole Kidman was red and had a bigger body, maybe now she changed. But anybody with red hair, that definitely has guys, fire in their head. So they have a moderate frame, like they're not too big, they're not too small. They're like have a bigger body. They gain or lose weight easily. Now, I have dresses when I was 15 years old. So still same. Skin is often delicate. Oil burns easily with a copper tone. You might have freckles, you might have moles. I do have moles in my back. And again, according to your diet, you might have tendency to acne. Definitely, you keep the people sweat. You're going to be sweating. Sometimes it smell. The hair can be soft, blonde, red. And what happens is it grays early. So I am 46 and I do have a lot of grays already. And look at my hair. That's it. So tendency to become thin. All right. The eyes are sharp, penetrating, maybe gray or green. Bowel movement, soft, oily, loose. So you're going to make the banana shape poop. Nice and well formed. And sometimes you go 2 times a day. And yes, I will go in the morning. Maybe I go around 4 p.m. Again, which is good. Good for you. They love competition to their aggressive nature. So you just want to be on top of your things. Like even if I'm not the great scholar to my lack of concentration with Vata, I always try to do my homework. I always try to, at least I compensate that. So, trying to do my stuff. And because of the fire, they will have like some sharp memory and intelligence. Like the fire makes them think fast, right? And they have a lot of passion. Hopefully, you can direct them to the correct thing. Now we have kapha. Kapha is water and earth, like the mud. So then it would be the mucus, the lymph, anything that is solid, like the bones. Joint fluid, spinal cord fluid. Oily, cold, dense, slimy, stable, sweet. Kapha people, they don't get upset. You know what is a good example for Kafas? The Hawaiians. They have like this big body and they look like teddy bears. They're like so nice and gentle, never get upset. Too much kapha, you will have literally mucus coming out. Sinus congestion, you will have mucus on your lungs. You can even have mucus on your stools. Dullness, you are lethargic. You can have some obesity. So definitely people with kapha gotta be careful with the sweets. Edema is when they swallow on retention of water. So and subbracket that too much sweets can be diabetes. Now if you don't have kapha enough, you don't have that, you know, you can think the kapha is like that, like an aloe vera kind of, jelly uh, texture. And if you don't have that, then you have a dry respiratory tract. You might have a burning stomach because the lines of the stomach has been burned by fire, burns. And you're too rigid because you don't have the water, you become stiff. Here are some examples. Okra and Pavarotti. No matter if you eat lettuce every day, you will always have a large body frame. It's in their nature. Like the Hawaiians, they're big people. They're tall, they're thick, and the skin is again thick, oily. When you touch someone that is kapha, I don't even need to put oil. The oil is already coming off their skin. Yeah.
What do you use?
I don't. You know what I
Nothing.
mean? No, because they're already oily naturally.
You can see the
Yeah,
No,
it has a moisture,
Yeah.
There's not dry like cotton. They're good to the touch, they can be a little pale, and they definitely gain weight. So they must exercise. Otherwise they will be obese. And that's not good. Hair is thick, oily, wavy. Lots of people will have thick eyebrows and beautiful eyelashes. Also beautiful, perfect teeth. The eyes are big, attractive. Now they eat slow because they remember they move always slow. Forget, don't even try to make a cow move fast. You're just going to get upset. Yeah. So you just let them move at their time. They can definitely skip a meal, it's not a problem because they already eat. So yeah, you want to skip dinner, no problem. Do better for you. The mouth movements are thick, oil, regular, but they always peaceful, always content, always chill. So they move slowly and they waste little energy. So they are effective, but they're slow. For example, if I know that I am Vata Pitta, I cannot work with someone that is Kapha. Because my Pitta, did you send the email? It takes me like 1 hour to send the email to whatever business. That Kapha person, it would take maybe 2 days or one day. And so it becomes an issue. But in other hand, I know that I can trust them. I know they're going to do it with the best dedication and the best concentration, and it will be perfectly done. It will probably be better reading than I will do it in my rush, but it will, let them move at their own timing. So they can become a little self-centered or greedy or ultra sensitive. So she'll be super nice and now you're super sensitive. So that's something to take a look. Now we have seven mixed types. Okay, so you have a main dosha, like for example Vata Pitta, and you have a second dosha that is after the main one, and then sometimes you have, like I have very little kapha, almost nothing. And then you also can be three doshi, meaning you have the three doshas um, kind of like the same quantity, which is rare, but it's possible. Now, this is talking by the Ayurveda tastes. So let's take a look. Let me put this on the roof because this is actually really cool. And with this, you can balance your doshas.
So it's possible.
See. So, for example, in all the foods, we have six tastes. Let's take a look on the first one. Sweet. In Sanskrit, Madhura. The sweet is made of two elements, earth and water. So if sweet is made of earth and water, what dosha has earth and water? Kapha. So sweets will increase kapha. What dosha needs some lubrication that is too dry? Okay, so it will balance vata and will balance pitta because pitta has that fire and sweets has water, right? And you will disbalance vata. So it will decrease vata and pitta with the arrows down and will increase kapha. Make sense? Because now we understand what element, what is sweet, honey. Now we have something in Ayurveda called vipaka. Vipaka means the post-digestive effect. So, for example, all carbs after they digest, they become sugar. Like the rice, the pasta, the bread. So we eat rice with turmeric and Himalayan salt, but after you eat it, it becomes sweet. Make sense? So now we know nuts, fruits, grains, then well, natural sugars, milk. So we, vata and pittas, they can have sweets. We need sweets to balance. Yeah, so yesterday again, midnight doing the laundry, I was don't use me as an example. You should be going to sleep early, but you know what I mean, right? Then we have sour, amla, ácido. Eu não sei se é ácido. Let me just double check it in Spanish.
What we check? In the first one, sweet. Kapha needs.
Agrio.
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 Kapha needs sweet.
No.
Okay, okay.
Why?
The other one.
Why? Because sweet is made of what elements? Earth and water. And I'm sorry you can't see very well, but I'm telling you. Sweet is made of earth and water. How are we going to balance the doshas is with the opposite. So if I'm Kapha, I already have earth and water. You don't need more earth and water. Who doesn't have earth and water needs earth and water. Vita and Vata. Okay, so agrio, sour, is made of earth and fire. So it's going to definitely increase Pitta because we already know that Pitta has fire, so more fire on the fire becomes a bomb. And it's going to increase Kapha because it has earth. Who is going to benefit of the sour is Vata. Vata would be good to have the sour. So yogurt, any citrus fruits like kiwi, orange, ascorbic acid, vitamin C, vinegar. There's some tomatoes with balsamic. Any cheese, any fermented food is sour. So vatas need that, you know, kind of the dairy component. It will be good for them. Again, from a good source. Don't go supporting animals illegally. All right. You guys are understanding. This is a great way to start. It's a good chart. Good chart. Good chart. I love it. That's why I added. Then we have salt, salty, lavana. The salt is made of fire and water. So because it has fire and water, it's going to increase pitta and it's going to increase kapha. Who can have salt? The vatas. So seaweed, anything with, Himalayan salt, sea vegetables. Then pungent. Pungent, creo que es, let me check, spicy. No.
I mean, it doesn't matter that, but it's a
Super
good pepper,
black pepper.
cayenne, black pepper, ginger.
Picante.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's like sharp. It's like pungent.
Yeah.
It's like piercing. Like you put on your tongue and
Yeah.
immediately. So what is pungent or katu made of? Air and fire. So because it has air, it's not going to be good for vata. So we need to avoid a lot of garlic, a lot of ginger, a lot of black pepper, hot spices, because that's going to bring you more air. No wonder you have anxiety and fear.
I eat chili pepper like almost every day.
Not anymore.
Once a week.
Not anymore.
This is teaching me a lot about myself.
Yeah, don't have it because then you have this sub. Then it's just like I have depression and anxiety forever. What you be eating chili forever?
It's so good.
Wow. Well, trying to find another thing to
Yeah.
put on your tongue. And it's going to increase pitta because it's also fire. Of course, you already have a lot of fire and you feel a little arrogant, a little impatient. And you put more spice on your food, then you're going to eat people's faces like a dragon, like I was in my past. Thank God I'm a little better now. Thank you, God. Thank you, Ayurveda. Right? But we don't want to do that because we burn people and we burn relationships. So if you already have fire, don't have excess of spices. Now, Kapha can have it. Kapha needs spices because they need to burn. They need that fire. They need the fire to move. Go to the gym. Here. They need some, push. Now we have bitter or tikta. And bitter in Spanish is amargo. Bitter is amargo. And that is the turmeric. Dark leaf greens like kale, like spinach, collard greens, and different herbs and spices. So because it's made of air and ether, definitely not good for vata. So if you're going to have, like we have, today the kale, you need to kind of like cook the kale a little bit. So we cook it with the acid of the lime. If you're going to have a spinach, how are you going to have it? It's cook it. You can cook the green leaf vegetables so it's not so bitter. Now, turmeric you can have in moderation. Right? You don't need to have it every day. But for pita and kapha, that would be great. So I can have the whole kale salad, and 3 hours later I will be hungry again because of my pita. So you need to see how do you feel. You need to actually test it. If you eat, like we have the kale, and you don't have flatulence, you're not bloated, and you feel like you digested well, okay, so then you have a balanced agni, a balanced fire. But having kale raw at night, that would be no bueno. And then the next morning you are constipated, right? If you're vodka. So just, I always have the spinach cooked. So instead having raw vegetables that will have a lot of that ether and air because they're raw, you can cook them and then take a little bit of that air out. And then the last one is kashaya or astringent. And that's made of air and earth. So again, if it has air, it's going to increase vata. If it has earth, it's going to maybe increase kapha as well. Definitely good for pitta. So anything that is, a ver, le traduzco, astringent, astringente, sí. So las bananas verdes, green bananas, any legumes, any raw fruits, vegetable, herbs. So then you start balancing your doshas with your diet. Right? If you know that you have anxiety, stay away from raw. Stay away from that pungent for some time and see how you feel. See if it has an effect on your mind. Maybe you sleep better. Maybe you can focus better, and then you will feel better. Right? So it has so many things to eat in the world. Here is kind of like a dish. So for vatas, grounding, building, easy to digest. So you can have 10% fruit, 20% veggies, 20% protein, half of carbs, and a little dairy.
50% carbs?
This is the sweets. You need sweets. And you need to gain weight because you have a thin body.
This is like crazy. Like this is different than anything anybody's ever talked to.
Yeah, because
Okay,
they're
maybe
not,
I
they
was
don't
scared.
know.
No.
Yeah.
Everybody.
So what are the cups? Whole grains. Ready? I mean, again, you cannot see the picture. You guys want to see the computer?
Yeah.
Maybe better.
Is it dependent on what's your biggest number? That's
No, it's a general, it's an idea. So, for example, what are the carbs? Whole grains.
no, but it's the highest number we
Whole
have.
grains like quinoa, brown rice. Those are, cooked cereals. Some pasta, some bread. Chapatis is like a flat bread, and oats. Oh, that is there for you. Wheat, rice. I love rice. Like I can only eat that rice. Some protein. Maybe you do here. Maybe you need some animal protein sometimes. In Ayurveda, they are okay with it if it's for your health because ahimsa starts with you. If you are depleted, if you're sick, if you are, with schizophrenia, yeah, please have some chicken, have some turkey, right? Ground down, have some fish. Uh, what is that episode about? So here has some proteins: split lentils, tofu, mung beans. We have those today.
That makes me
Nuts,
feel good.
vegetables. Yeah, because mung beans are super light. And then vegetables, preferably lightly cooked. Fruits, fresh and sweet. You can also have steamed baker food. For example, you can in the morning you can bake apples or bake or cook the apples or pears with like ghee or butter and then put some cinnamon so it's not raw. It's
Dessert.
warm and it's nice.
With oats.
Yeah.
Pancake oats.
Yeah. And then you know, uh, dairy moderation, buttermilk, kefir, some, milk. I have coconut milk, yogurt, and then again. So Vata, look, mostly sweets. Good for you. Good for us. Sour a little bit, salt a little bit, acid a bit, and punch. General rule: Vatas must not be light, dry, and crunchy, cold, raw, and anything hard to digest. So no, like Vatas should not have nuts. Vatas should soak the nuts. You can have the nuts wet.
You eat the, like the mix.
No.
So the Israeli salad that I eat every day. I should have
Well, now is the summer, so you are, you know,
seasonal. Maybe a
yeah.
1 meal a day.
No, no, yeah. I mean, you can have a meal when it's super hot, but you will not have that in the winter. Right? Because now we are in Florida. Because if you were in Chicago, neither you would have. So try to have a little bit of that, but also check because if you have that type of anxiety, insecurity, insomnia, remove the rock. Let's see how you feel. See if it makes an effect. So you can have the same veggies stir fry. What is the stir fry? Slightly cooked, un poquito. Like the zucchini, it wasn't cooking all the way. It was a little bit.
That is delicious.
Yeah, but you can also have, like for example, pita can have the zucchini raw with noodles.
Yeah.
Vatas needs to have cooked foods, right? Then we have the pita. Pita needs to also be grounding, sustainable, cooling, cooling, calming, heavy and dry. So 10% fruit, 30% veggies, a little bit less carbs, 30%, a little bit of dairy, and 30% protein, a little bit more than vatas. So again, carbohydrates are good for you, like whole grains, wheat bread, cooked grains, basmati rice, oats, quinoa. We have the
Yay.
quinoa pasta today. Black lentils, chickpeas, mung beans, and soy products here.
Soy milk.
Yeah, and the mummy. And the mummy has protein. And the mummy, when you go to, yeah, and the mummy has protein, tofu. And then vegetables. Most vegetables, squash, potatoes, pears, fruits must be sweet and ripe. Avoid sour because that's going to make your fire, you know, irritated. And then dairy, small quantities. Unsalted butter, cottage cheese because it's more wet. It's not so sour. When the cheese is dry,
Yeah.
parmesano, is more sour. So you have more ricotta, cream cheese.
I love
You do
ricotta.
some mojaditos.
It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, ghee, milk,
Sweet potatoes.
and then you have more, a little bit less sweet than fatas, and a little bit of sour, astringent, bitter, and pungent. And then, yeah, uh, general rule: bitter foods must not be too salty.
Oh, I
Like
love sauce. I love sauce.
yeah, sour and pungent. Avoid hot spices, fried foods, sour drinks, alcohol,
Yeah,
coffee,
of
sodas,
course.
and refined sugars. And then the kapha, maybe to your partner, they need to be light because they already have a tendency to be obese, dry because they already a lot of moisture on them, well spiced, warm, easy to digest, and energizing. So a lot of fruits, no dairy because the dairy causes obesity and mucus. So they already have a mucus enough. 40% of veggies, so less animal protein and more veggies. Okay, and so again, you have whole grains. They can have crackers, dry cereals, cooked grains. Amaranth is another one. Barley, basmati rice, buckwheat. Buckwheat is good because it doesn't make you fat. It's like a grain that doesn't, create obesity. It is very heavy, so it's good to have. Corn also is gluten free. So then all legumes, lentils, tofu, soy milk, split peas, um, you know, all kinds of raw they can have. They can have raw all they want because they already have a big earth element, so they're not going to be disbalanced. They can also have dry fruits, astringent fruits are typically the best, and minimal quantities in dairy. So maybe goat milk is better, or skim milk, or soy, coconut milk, almond milk, because otherwise also it will increase their obesity. Yeah, and then general rule here: kapha foods must not be heavy. Vata must be heavy. Vata should be having like stews of
Yeah.
vegetables. Kapha more salads, right? And then oil in cold. Reduce sweet, salty, and sour, and avoid fried desserts, sweets, ice cream. Again, you can look
Makes sense.
on your Dropbox and see it better, but
Yeah.
at least you have a little bit of idea. All right, let's move forward.
That was really interesting.
Very interesting. So when you do an Ayurveda consultation, you get a meal planner, you get all the recipes, and you get all the herbs to balance your mind. Then we have some concepts here. Let's take a look. So first, what we do in Ayurveda is find the Prakriti. What is Prakriti? Prakriti is your original constitution. For example, I was born Vata Pitta. Why? In the moment of conception, my parents were hippies, so a lot of Vata there, psychedelics time. So I took a little bit of that in my formation, and so that's how I was born. Then, throughout my experiences, life changes. I change countries, I change languages. Then you can have a Vikruti, which is the dosha imbalance. So then I became Pitta Vata. So my nature was Vata Pitta. Then I had a disbalance. And then I became Pitta Vata. When I was had I have three yoga centers at the same time. Can you imagine? I don't even know how I did it. But yeah, I was definitely having a lot of fire and my pitta got this balance. And I was sometimes I would lose my temper. I didn't, I didn't have a lot of patience or kindness with people. Because right? So, okay. So then I realized that I have this balance, and slowly I made some life changes to diminish that fire element on me and go back to my original constitution that is my prakriti. So Vikruti is the disbalance and Prakriti is your original constitution. What makes your original constitution is the state of how your parents were in the moment of conception. One, the place that you were born, right? If I was born in the mountains, you know, highland, maybe I would be disbalanced, being, you know, ocean level super hot because naturally I was born exactly. So we gotta take all that in consideration. Then what we want to do, we want to remove the toxins from our system. We want to remove ama and we want to reduce the excess dosha. Just like I'm saying, if I know that my fire is out of place, is burning people, is burning me because I am tired, I'm like running from here and there, like, oh my God. So I need to reduce the excess through diet and through lifestyle. So less compromise, less like, for example, I cannot have garlic, although I love garlic and garlic is a good antibiotic. Garlic is extremely rajasic. So if I wanna do meditation or I wanna have more like a celibacy, more, you know, when you say more calm, more sattvic, then garlic will be against that because garlic, like, if I have garlic, you will know. I will be like hyperactive.
Like ginger.
Yes, yes. And once we remove the toxins, after your body is cleansed, then what we do? We nourish the body. And then we give nourishing herbs. That's another wrong concept with Western medicine. If someone has a disease or disbalance, you shouldn't be giving just the medicine because you give the medicine and the medicine doesn't penetrate because of your toxins. So you give the medicine, but the body doesn't absorb.
Okay, I have a question. So I would say I'm Vata Pitta, but more Vata. So when you say reduce the excess dosha, I would reduce the Vata
Yes.
through the eating more carbs, eating
More cooked food.
honey, rice, sugars, grains, and eating less pepper and garlic and turmeric and legumes and raw.
Right.
Eat more cooked. So through
More
that
cooked.
you reduce the vata.
Right. But also we mentioned the vata is like wind, it's like airy movement. So you also want to give times in your week where you are more grounded and sitting and not moving, right? So then you have to chill the air. Another Ayurvedic dietary tips. Try to avoid lifeless, nutrient poor food like canned foods, microwave, and leftovers. That we spoke about that yesterday. And it's just common sense, yeah? Practice now Hadani yoga and mindful eating is kind of the same. Hadani yoga, you are going to meditate with your food. Use like a mindfulness with your food. Like we see the dish and we think all the process that cow, the cow, you know, had a trunk, and then it had leaves, and then it grow, and then someone pick up the cow, put it in the box, put it in the trunk, now it's with you, and the green opens your anahata chakra. So you can instead eating and multitasking, eating and watching TV, eating and talking to other family, which, you know, I know that is kind of like what everybody does, but you're supposed to really be eating. I cannot even speak and eat. I said it's not possible. You speak and I chew and then you chew and then I speak. So we shouldn't be doing other actions when we eat. What do? We pray before we eat. We give grace. Thank you God for this food. Thank you God Shamanda for these fruits and vegetables. And then we just focus on the eating. And we're supposed to chew the food like 30 times before we swallow. You just have a hard time with that because here comes the lion.
Yeah.
But if you chew very much, so many, much more times, first you're going to have much better digestion because now the food drops completely crumble. The digestion starts on your mouth. It starts with your saliva. The saliva is going to start breaking down the food. So you help your digestive system. If you have a better digestion, you will have less toxins on your body. So again, instead, eating fast, rushing, you will just eat slowly, stay present, stay always present on the present moment. And you're not going to be eating for an hour. You probably, well, you take what, 10, 15 minutes to eat, right? So you stay present with your food. You appreciate the colors of your food. You appreciate the smell. You are eating through the five senses. You are eating by your sight. You are eating by your smell. You are eating by, again, you need the day, eat with your hands. The other day, oh my God, this guy, I was in a date and I'm using my hands. I don't care. I don't care because I'm just on myself, but I'm like, oh my God, I'm eating my hands in front of the guy. I mean, it was a taco, okay?
Yeah.
But you know what I
You
mean?
eat tacos with your hands.
Exactly.
That's what?
No, but it was coming all over and I was just like, but it has like a component when
Yeah.
you feel the food on your fingers,
Yes.
right? So in India they get the chapati, which is like this flat bread, which is
So good.
so easy to make. It's just um, you know, um, whole wheat flour and water, and you mash it and you stretch it, and you can make on the on not on the oven, you can make on the stove, and that becomes like a flat bread, and that flat bread is like a scoop, and you folder that, and you scoop the rice, and you scoop your vegetables with the bread, and then you eat it, and it has something kind of pleasurable, like tasting your fingers with the food you
Yeah,
get.
yeah, yeah,
You know, it's the same way someone feeds you a strawberry in your mouth. So it's like nice. So yeah, so we want to be present in the act of eating and not being distracted with other activities. Very common also is watching TV, right? And again, no judgment. Sometimes we just want to have some type of company, but spiritually speaking, is not the ideal. Fruits by themselves or with green leaf veggies. So we shouldn't have fruits and dairy. That is undigestible. Oats, yeah, oats though, yeah, they are not dairy. Oats are a grain.
But yogurt can also be
Yogurt, yeah, yogurt is dairy. Oats are not
So
dairy.
yogurt and fruit is a no.
Is that in
That's crazy.
I know. It just matches. It looks pretty.
It's beautiful and delicious.
Yeah, but again, you will get bloated. You get
Yes,
flatulence.
it does.
You get bloated.
Wow. All the
makes
time.
sense.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's all making sense to me now. Like my whole life
So
is
maybe
making
you can
sense.
have yogurt. You can have yogurt with some sort of like soaked nuts. Like, well, if you're butter, you don't want to have dry nuts. So you can have like seeds, walnuts, chia seeds, and a little more moist, right?
And like smoothies and stuff.
It's what you don't supposed to have cold. So the smoothies can be okay again if it's summertime during the noon times, but not if they're ice cold. And then definitely you don't want to mix fruits and dairy. So you can have your smoothies with water,
Yeah.
or you can use coconut milk that is not dairy from an animal, like something like that. And then another big one here, that's classic. Do not eat proteins with carbs, starch. Con carbohidratos. It becomes a ball that is indigestible as well. So if you're going to have animal protein, you should have it with salad. You should have it with vegetables. Then it's okay.
No, like potatoes.
No.
Like today, egg with pasta or
Yeah, you should have it with salad.
just salad. Nothing like
Or
rice.
vegetables.
Okay.
But what about the rice and lentils?
That is a starch.
It's not.
It is.
Oh, it is.
Quinoa you can have. Quinoa you can have. You cannot have steak and rice. Steak and potatoes. Chicken and potatoes.
But the
Chicken
rice
and
and
vegetables.
lentils, so let's mix lentils and
But
rice.
that's not animal protein. We're talking about
Ah,
animal
oh,
protein.
okay, not like beans. Or
No,
oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
But that's classic. What people order is
That's what they
steak
get.
and
You're
potatoes.
explaining like just the basic like menus on anything or like what people serve or like
Burger and
my mind is blown right now.
Yeah.
But then you see these people, and when they get 50, 60, they get some sort of disease. And now you know why. Because they've been putting wrong thing. And then,
Potato.
talking about the dating again, I'm 46. I'm trying to see some 50 years old. They all had huge belly. It's like, oh my God. Because of indigestive food, wrong combinations. So no fruit and dairy. You can have the dairy with some cereal, with some, chia, with oats. Yeah. Right? And then trying to have, if you have animal protein, like
Eggs
fish
with
fish and salad, not fish and rice.
no fish and potatoes.
No.
No potatoes. It's a vegetable.
No, potatoes, yeah, but it has carbs. It's a starch.
Okay.
Try sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes with
Yuca.
yuca. I love yuca.
Oh, yuca is so
yes.
good.
Oh my god. No potato, but yuca yes, and sweet potato yes.
Yeah, something different.
Okay. But the quinoa
Quinoa is good. Quinoa you
with
can have.
egg.
Huh?
With egg.
Yeah. We're talking about more like steak, chickens, and fish. That's the
Okay.
most common.
Okay.
All right, so let's moving forward. Another dietary tips. This is what you should do with your salad. And you wake up and you have warm water with lime or lemon. Warm up. So I have a little bit of ginger water with lime just before. So when I wake up, warm. Then you go to the bathroom. So that warm water will be like an internal shower, internal douche. It's going to cleanse all your esophagus, your trachea is just cleansing down.
I can replace like lemon with ginger or apple
Vinegar, yeah, you can do it. But just a little bit, because otherwise you remember you have fire.
Yeah.
You should have lime, not even lemon, lime. Lime is better for
Mine is
pickles.
better than mine.
For pickles.
Mine
For the
is
chef,
pizza.
like
So
that.
should be lime.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it's kind of the same almost.
But it says for maca that citrus is good.
Yes.
I'm gonna stick with lemon.
Yeah. Then lunch should be the largest meal. We talk about this because we want to follow the elements. And when the sun is up burning in the sky, that means that we're going to have our fire burning in our stomach as strong as the sun. So then having lunch should be 12:30, 1 p.m., right? Then you will eat and you eat good. No, I didn't eat too much because I needed to talk now, but otherwise I would definitely have to eat. Never have ice cold drinks. Never. That's terrible for your digestion. You know, during noontime, during the summer, you want to put up just one little piece of ice because it's super hot. Maybe okay, but yesterday I went to this place and they gave me the whole cup full of ice and they didn't. So here I am in front of my day, putting my fingers inside like a freaking primitive and removing the ice. No ice. That's going to kill the agony, it's going to kill that eternal fire, and then your digestion will be sluggish, and then you will be bloated, and you will have constipation, and then after many, 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 many years of the same, then you can develop something more.
I see sometimes people create to eat so many times because to buy more,
Yeah, more material.
more.
Exactly.
You know the thing about the ice also. So when you go to like Europe, there's
Too
no
much
ice
ice.
here. There's no ice in Israel. There's no ice in Asia. Nothing. And then you
Yeah.
come here.
I think it's because they want you to keep buying, like she said, if you put a bunch of ice and then there's almost no drink. And then when you end the drink and immediately it's just ice left. And you gotta buy another one.
Just one.
Okay, then yeah, so room temperature. You see the tea that we drink, the hibiscus one was room temperature. It wasn't freezing cold. It was just room temperature, a little cold, so not too much. In Brazil, one of the issues is the acai bowls.
I know. I know.
You can have the acai once the ice melts down, room temperature.
Okay.
Because let the acai, defrost. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're just eating
It's like a
ice.
sorbet.
Yeah. And also, guys, from the acai, you need to have 100 little seeds of acai to have one scoop of acai. Most of acai is highly
Sugar.
processed.
Yes.
Highly processed.
That's why it's so good. There's so much sugar.
Yeah, but just be aware. Just be aware. And of course, eat as much organic food, avoid processed, and do not eat again until the last meal has been digested. Right? So we eat a little, then your stomach will say, "Hey, I'm hungry again." Oh, okay. You listen. Now, this is important. Detox. How to eliminate the toxins. How to eliminate ammonia. So, CCFT, cumin, coriander, and fennel. CCF. This is how you're going to help your digestion. In India, all the restaurants have a little plate with fennel seeds. You know how fennel seeds? You can just instead, yeah, you can chew them instead of chewing gum, which not good for you. You can chew fennel seeds. It gives you a beautiful, fresh um, flavor in your mouth, and it helps with the digestion. Now you can do the CCF. Now we are so hot in Florida. You can have not freezing cold, but you can have it with cold tea, or of course warm will be always be better. Warm will always be better. And look at the Chinese. They're never, they're almost very impossible to find someone obese or, skin is perfect and they're always having green tea.
Koreans too.
Always warm, before and after the meals.
The most beautiful skin.
You want that. You want to imitate that. You want to have warm drinks before and definitely after because it helps with digestion. So if you want to change it up a little bit, you can have, like I said, I use ginger. I love ginger. I love lemon. So you can put, one time you can put ginger on your CCF, or you can change it up with lemon on your CCF. Now, trifala is one of the most um, stronger spices in Ayurveda, and I have a little bit I brought it here, and you can, it's sour, it's almost, I will pass it. Trifala, you can put it on your warm water before you go to sleep if you have constipation. It's a scraper. It's the most important herb for detox the body. Trifala is three berries together. Amalaki, Bumalaki, and Amla. Three berries. And you can go do like this. Look. And try. It's not, doesn't taste good.
No.
No, because it's for detox, so you need it sour.
Seems like maca.
So you can do this warm water before you go to sleep with a little trifala, and then in the morning you will go to the bathroom. You will not be constipated. You will not be. You have flatulence and all of that. So it's really good for detox. The body must be detoxed before it receives medicine. Otherwise, we give the medicine. You have so much. Uh, of the alma, when you go to a waterfall that has this green layer on the rocks,
Yeah, like the moss.
moss. Alma is like moss around your organs walls. Okay? So you give the medicine for whatever it is, for your menstrual cycle, for your anxiety, for your cholesterol, and it doesn't penetrate the moss of the alma in your organs. Your organs get dirty, just like a car. Now, what's going to help with the digestion, what's going to help to have less toxicity in the body is have a strong digestive fire. And for that, we need to have some dipana practices like increase the fire. One is a more light diet. What happens if I have, if I have all you can eat and all you can eat with all kinds of raw foods, then you're going to, you imagine you have a little fire and you put sand on the fire, or you put dirt on top of the fire. You're going to kill the fire. Periodic liquid diet. So you want to keep sipping warm. Sip warm. Sip a little bit of warm water, a little bit of tea, a little bit of warm, a little bit, that's going to help with the fire. Ginger definitely helps with the fire. Lemon juice helps with the fire. Cayenne pepper, peppers, spices helps with the fire. Then we have pancha karma. Pancha is five and karma is actions. So we have this five treatments to completely cleanse the body. So vamana is inducing vomiting. So you're going to take herbs to vomit. That's also happening in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika.
That's Brahmana.
Vamana. So you will have some herb, talking about this is what we're doing in ayahuasca
Is it ayahuasca?
Always you.
most of the time. Unless you're super clean diet and you don't vomit toxins, you vomit your memories,
So
emotions.
what is it? It's like
You induce vomiting
by like an herb, like
by
Brahmana is an
herbs.
herb.
Yeah. So some of this would be, like um, you can have a lot of salt water. You drink like 2 liters of salt water, you will vomit. Or you have other combinations with milk and some herbs that will able to make the purge. In When we go to Peru, when we do ayahuasca, before that, the ayahuasca is going to make you purge period, but before we do vamana, and the way that we do vamana, we drink a disgusting small cup of tobacco liquid and a lot of water. So you drink that disgusting tobacco. It's almost like you're drinking an ashtray, and then you drink water. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, vomit. You vomit until the bile comes out. You know, the bile is the last secretion of the liver. When you vomit the bile, which is like yellow and highlight, when you vomit that yellow, that you know that you're done. That has nothing else left to vomit. Super good for you. Why? Because you put all the liquids or your fluids out, so your body must produce new. You really rejuvenate you from the inside out. Yeah, it's uncomfortable to vomit. Who likes to vomit? Nobody. But you vomit when you were in college, you're drunk anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
So might as well so might as well do it when you for a medicinal purpose. So you know, okay, you're going to vomit, you vomit for 20 minutes and then you're done. You're done. Not to vomit for 4 hours. You vomit, well, depends again on each case. But you vomit for a limited amount of time and you cleanse your organs and you feel so good afterwards. You feel super light, like your organs like completely like are shining inside. Yes, super good. Then Virichana, instead of vomiting through your mouth, you're going to purge it to your behind. You're going to purge to your anus. So you're going to provoke some sort of diarrhea. Vamana is good for vata, and Virichana is good for pitta. Yeah, pitta. So we give you some herbs, and you don't go anywhere. Stay in your house. Stay close to the bathroom.
Yeah, I work with
It's
So
like the tea, like they use it to lose weight normally.
yeah,
But that's the same thing that it's doing.
if you drink, I mean, I'm not going to give you the recipes because you need to, do an Ayurveda consultation and have an Ayurveda doctor with you. You don't do it without being prepared. But more or less, it's like you can drink milk with castor oil and you will go to the bathroom. And yeah, you will.
me, real me,
Yeah, milk with castor oil. Castor oil is disgusting. You will definitely go to the bathroom. And so, yeah, you will clean all your intestine. And when you poop, there's always some poop left. You might have poop from 3, 4 days ago stuck in there. And then that also can cause migraines. That also can cause confusion. You're full of shit.
yeah.
Literally. And that's because we are talking about healthy diet. Now imagine someone, I this is so many stories. I should have a book. But I met someone online and like, oh, let's go to Costa Rica. Let's go. And we went. The guy was a carnivore. I mean, the guy was eating a cow in the morning, at lunch, at night. I needed to run away. Um, but imagine what happens when someone just eats meat. I mean, they're going to have dinner in their stomach from a week ago. It's stuck in there. They definitely going to have an excess of fire. They're going to be arrogant. They're going to smell bad. If you eat someone that smells has odor in their mouth, have definitely that is a yellow flag. Something's putrefying inside. The smell is not coming from nothing. We usually don't have a smell because we have a cavity. We have a smell because something's really wrong in your organs. Yeah? Yeah. My mom had a bad smell. And I told her, that was like 6 months before she got sick. Mom, something's wrong because we have a smell. She was already, getting hormone failure slowly. Then we have nausea. Nausea is basically putting oils in your nose, and we can try right now.
In nose?
Yes,
Inside.
yes, it's fine. Of course, this is just a little bit, but then we can do it more. So this is you can buy on Bayer, which is a really good company for Ayurveda products. And this is very good for bathas. Bathas, because of the air, they need to put oil everywhere. So this is sesame oil, which is recommended for vata, with brahmi. Brahmi is a brain nervine that is like very good to focus, very good to memory, very good for concentration. So you will, I mean, I won't have problem with any type of microbes, but if you have anything that,
What is the
you take a little bit of oil and you cover them on oil and then a little bit more.
does it have go to your throat?
No, just a little. If it was too much. And then once you do both, then you can definitely put your hand back and massage and let that oil lubricate your brain. And so your brain will be lubricated with this oil that has herbs for the brain. So you don't have Alzheimer, you don't have Parkinson, you don't lose your memory. This is like a natural Adderall. You can focus, you can fast attention, you're alert.
What does it feel like? Like, oh my gosh, that scared me so much what you
It's
just
just
said.
a drop of
Oh,
oil.
no.
It's not drugs, it's just sesame oil. Just a little bit. So for you to try. And then you can also
Can
get
I do like this much?
yeah, yeah. And then you have to put your hand over one nostril.
So scared.
And I'm so
I
scared.
never put anything on my
Me either. I've never.
I know it's just oil. It's oil, it's not cocaine.
I've never done both. I either. I feel like I'm gonna miss.
No, now you're going to feel your nose.
Do you want me to do it for you?
Yes.
Maybe.
I'm gonna try myself. I'm not gonna do it if I do it
When you
myself.
have an Ayurveda doctor, he will do it for you. So put your head back.
I'm so scared.
It's just
I'm
oil.
gonna
Ay, no, para.
Queda mucho.
No.
inhale.
Queda un more slide. Okay, put that side. She needs to go, so let's continue. Put on the other side. Yeah, it's not bad.
It doesn't feel like I need to mind.
No, no. I mean, you can put one of this, but just a
So
little.
now you're gonna feel like
Yeah, just a little. So now you're going to be focused.
you can sleep.
Inhale.
Inhale.
Oh, good. And then just massage your nose, like you just go back, just to go, yeah, like this, to your forehead, like this, like bring it up here. Future Ayurveda consultant coming up
You do feel it in your throat a little
a
bit.
little bit, because you swallow it.
I'm gonna take a picture.
Me
Yeah.
too.
That's it.
That's so
Very good
funny.
for the winter because the winter is more dry and we get, the wind and oh, it's really good.
How
Yeah, it's good.
many times a day?
Every hour.
Do you want?
You can
No.
do it in the
I
morning.
you send me the picture.
Yeah.
Put it on the You can do it in the morning, to wake up. I usually do it when, I need to wake up or it's just study. I know that it's a study day. All right, let's continue because she needs to go soon.
Oh, sorry.
Then Basti is putting oil in your rectum, which I also have done. We're not going to do it today. Not today. Not
Okay. Okay, let's go. Bathroom?
Very good for bathers. Very good for bathers. When you feel ungrounded, when you cannot go to the bathroom, has like a douche that you can buy on Amazon that has as small as my tiny finger. And you also will put a little bit of sesame oil on your butt, on your rectum, and you go to sleep. And it's really, really good for intestine health. Okay?
What is the name?
It's called Basti.
If I will, I'm going to.
Yes, you can do yourself, but when you do a acupuncture, you will have someone that will assist you on that, and then Basti can be done with oils.
The oil of the dog.
Basti can be done with, like, let's say you have parasites.
Okay.
Then you can do like a water basti with like some herbs to kill parasites. A lot of people has cancer, colon cancer, and they shouldn't have if they do bastis with herbs that will clean their colon, like turmeric. Right? Turmeric is anti-cancer. Just mix it with water, mix it with the oil, put it in your butt, and then you will not have cancer on your colon. Right? Because look, you have a hole right there.
Yeah.
Use it, to put some
Use it.
medicine.
Yes.
And then Rakta Moksha is uh, letting blood letting. So in Ayurveda we use leeches. The leeches, they're like little insects and
Blood what?
pulling
Bloodletting.
pulling blood.
Like
Yeah. So in Ayurveda we use leeches, and very good for varicose veins, very good for pitta as well when you have that hot blood. Um, Before they will, you will donate blood and they will give you movie tickets. So apparently it's good to pull out blood. Why? Because now the heart needs to make a new one. Right? So you let go a little bit of that blood. And okay, another tips. Early to rise, early to bed. Attune yourself to spiritual energies like the full moon, like the sunrise. Go outside, welcome the sun. And other things that we do in Ayurveda is a dry brush. So you will dry brush yourself before you shower from the extremities to the heart, like from the wrist to the heart, from the ankles up to the leg. Very good to lymphatic system, helps with cellulite, helps with varicose veins. You can buy this anywhere in Abhyanga is oil massage. Again, Ayurveda is all about oil. So you're going to self massage yourself. So every time, very good for insomnia. So very good to do it before you go to sleep. You feel a little wired, you take a shower, and then you just soak yourself with oil, like giving yourself a hug with oil, and you let the oil a little bit in that body. Maybe go to your meditation, uh, so every time that I shower, I have a lot. I use coconut oil. Coconut oil can be good for pitas. Sesame is good for vatas because sesame is warming, and vatas again to stay cold. And you can put some lavender oil on your sesame oil. You can put like some rose oil on your sesame oil on your coconut to make it more yummy. But basically, just oil your body. Let your body have lots of oil in your nose, in your hands, in your ears, all around your body. You can also do oil pulling. So you will put a lot of coconut oil in your mouth and you will gargle. Okay, we use a tongue scraper. We will remove the ama from the tongue. And you can even make your natural fluoride-free toothpaste. Remember, fluoride will calcify your pineal gland and then you become a zombie in life. And we don't want that. So remove fluoride. You can make your toothpaste with coconut oil, a little bit of baking soda, and you can put like mint, mint oil, and then that's it. That's your toothpaste.
so for the oil, do you recommend that you do tongue scraping first, then oil pulling,
Yeah, yeah, because
and then you brush your teeth after all of that?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yes, totally. Coconut oil is really good because it makes your teeth white.
For the oil pulling?
Yeah, and it will pull out the bacteria that is around from the tongue.
But you said not to do that too much, right?
Yeah, baking soda, it makes your teeth white, but it also hurts the enamel, so we don't want to abuse of that. Now, Triphala, you guys just state, is the number one supplement in Ayurveda. It's Tridoshit, it's good for all doshes. Reduce cholesterol, constipation. I make ghee with Triphala. I cook ghee with Triphala, and then I put in my eyes when I go to sleep, and removes toxins from the GI tract. So if you want to start detoxing every night, a little warm water with Triphala, you just swallow that thing so you don't taste so much of the taste, and then it's going to help to detox.
Can you speak for that?
Namaste!
That was the. I think this was life changing.
Thank you. Let me show you some herbs, and you can see another day that I brought here. So we also have the same that you put on your nose. This is an oil. Let me pass this. This is an oil that you can put on the soles of your feet, or you can put a drop on the crown of your head when you go to sleep to ground yourself, reduce anxiety, reduce nervous tension.
On feet or head.
Feet or head. This is shatavari. This is a very special herb for females that wanna nourish the reproductive system, very good for menstrual cycle. Is a builder, so it helps you to be strong, but it's especially for your ovaries.
What's it called?
Shatavari. And ashwagandha is another. The ashwagandha is an adaptogenic. So when you're down, we'll lift you up. When you're too hyper, we'll calm you down. So this
That
is
one I know.
yeah, so you can have with the pills or you can put it on your
Do you
thing.
recommend pills?
Well, we have the herbs. You know, these herbs are now so tasty. So you can put it on your smoothie.
Yeah.
You can have one if you want.
They're
See,
yeah.
the herbs are inside. When I open, it's herbs coming out.
Yeah.
Right? This is the brand. This is for the anxiety. This is for the brain. This is your natural other role. This is for it's like brain herb. This is giant brush. This I just got it the other day. This is a jam that has 50 herbs. Yeah, you can take pictures
I
and put it on
love
the group
jam.
so that way.
Yeah, and I'm writing the notes
Got
with
it.
it so I know what it's for.
Yeah, put the pictures on the group
I
after.
will.
Yes. So you can try this. You can use with your finger. So giant brush is for immune system and for longevity, and has literally like 50 herbs here. So you can try.
What about jam?
That's a jam. It's a jam that is a
Can you even peanut butter?
it's a Medicaid jam.
You know, jam is made.
It's a Medicaid jam.
Oh, I see. But it doesn't need to be in the fridge.
Not necessarily, no.